ghetto structure okusooka ffe twali twepima nga ghetto structure tenabeerawo bali batugoba nga bintu si byakubeera nga tusobola okumiitinga mwali temusobola na kutumiitinga batulaga bagenda tulondesa obukulembeze ne batulaga nti tulina okweteekateeka ne batulaga nti mu bayamba mulina okubeera ne sako era essaawa zino eno nakasente tukayina mwe kali mu ofiisi tukakozesa ba beneficiaries abantu ab'omu ghetto wansi tuyanziza nnyo His Excellency the President of Uganda Brigadier General Damulira Major Kuteesa House Controller anti-ghetto tumuyita anti-ghetto structure kati mulimu nze nagufuula mulimu office eno ghetto structure mulimu kati gwenkola sikyalina kyenkola kyonna banaye ba ghetto youth mwenna bakubiriza ghetto structure yazze n'emikono ebiri ebeere ng'etuyambako oba ng'etujjayo yonna gye tuli ng'etusupportinga mu buli kimu veeyo akasente mwe kali mu ofiisi ak'okwekulaakulanya mutuukire ofiisi ensonga zammwe zonna zigenda kukolebwako.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Traders operating in arcades and shops within the city have vowed not to pay taxes if street vendors are not removed.
Failure to do that, we are ready as traders to stop paying trade licenses. And I'm assuring these authorities that we are not dealing with hawkers, we are dealing with vendors, street vendors, who even have shops inside the buildings. And they are ready to return their goods inside so that we can work together as the same traders, as same tenants in those buildings. But we are tired of these people who are always making displays and putting shops in the middle of the roads, even on the streets. Nobody is working, motorcycles are not moving, taxis are not moving, even our customers, pickpocketers are there.
They urge that they meet their tax obligations and pay rent for their business premises, while street vendors operate freely without similar costs.
I'm requesting the government, if they cannot manage these vendors who even own shops inside the buildings, we are not ready to pay any license. And the good thing, we are in Feb. We request kindly, by March, we need a clean city, we need a smart city.
Speaking to the media, Minister Kavanda emphasized that the government is determined to restore order in the city and ensure that all vendors operating illegally vacate immediately after the set deadline.
Still stands as it was. We are not changing anything. We are still we are waiting for 19th. Come 19th, we are going to start enforcement. We cannot accept that nonsense which is in Kampala. People have even brought fish on the streets. They are selling tilapia, the Nile perch on the streets. We cannot allow that. Cooking stoves are all over the place, so we cannot allow that.
The minister also addressed allegations that some cases enforcement officers collect money from street vendors in exchange for allowing them to operate on the streets. She warned that any officer found involved in such acts will face disciplinary action.
The fear that they may fail, because these are the landlords of the vendors. KCCA enforcement, they are the landlords of these vendors. They come and they collect money from these vendors and they even give them shop numbers in the middle of the roads.
I know the corruption with some of the officers in KCCA, especially the law enforcement officers, but we have also warned them, so they should connive with those people on the streets. They should work with us because they are our people.
She further clarified concerns regarding the planned redevelopment of Usafi Market. Traders have expressed fear about where they will operate during the reconstruction, especially since the market is expected to accommodate vendors removed from the streets.
We are going to renovate, or we are going to rebuild Usafi Market, but we are not going to send them right from the word go. We shall do it in a phased manner, so they should not worry. I know there are no working spaces in Usafi Market because that's where I stay. I know what takes place there, and I've been moving around as I was looking for my support. So Usafi is already full. We cannot tell people to go there, but we are taking them to Wandegeya. Those closed shops, they should go to Wandegeya and other areas. We are looking for other spaces. So Sunday Market is already provided for. We have passed it, and they are going to the Sunday Market.
Nals Bawini, Jamil Sekaja for UBC.
And that story forms the basis for our discussion this morning. The deadline is soon expiring, where vendors must be off the streets of Kampala. Now, joining me to discuss this, I have Chamba De Samuel, who is the General Secretary, National Entrepreneurs and Traders Association. We've had the Minister for Kampala and also Kampala Central woman, Kampala Central MP-elect, Ms. Sakabanda, emphasizing that this time round they will leave no stone unturned. We saw the executive director of KCCA still talking about the same and saying they're even collecting manpower. Now, you're a trader, but first, greet our viewers.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Ugandans. Good morning, the business community. I am Samuel Chambade, National Entrepreneurs and Traders Association General Secretary, NETA Uganda.
Now, who does not want the traders off the street? Let's begin with that.
An interesting question at that. I think, one, we need to understand and differentiate between the vendors and the trader. And I have always seen people confusing vendors and mistaking vendors, calling them abatembeyi, and abatembeyi in Uganda.
Hawkers?
Yes, in English, those are hawkers. And vendors, these are people who street vendors, these are people, traders, who get their merchandise, bring them on the street, station them, and sell them from there. For hawkers, these are people, these are traders who normally moves with their goods from one place to the other.
Yes, hawkers are not stationed.
Yes, hawkers are not stationed.
They can move the entire village.
Exactly. And it's wrong to call street vendors abatembeyi. I think that's where we need to start from. Two, nobody is against these informal traders. I mean street vendors. But I think we just need to understand, one, why they are on the street. Two, at least me as NETA General Secretary, I've interacted with the leadership of street vendors. These are organized people. They have got their association, they have got their leaders, and if we fail to understand them, we are likely to even hit a dead end in this very efforts.
But this operation seems to be very massive, very dangerous as well.
It is very massive and dangerous, I agree. And none of...
what is coming ahead of them if they don't vacate willingly doesn't seem to be anything lightly.
Do we need to get that? Do we need to take that direction? Do we need to get there? I think it's unnecessary. Like I've said, these are organized people with leadership, right? They have their own associations that brings them together. Can we try engaging them, make them understand? We all agree we need an organized city. We need trade order. We need to also let those that pay licenses, pay all these costs, understand and, I mean, leverage on that and make a living from their shops. Does it make sense if we leave those that pay taxes suffer and give priority, give advantages to these who come on the street, sell goods without paying taxes, without paying power, without paying anything? I mean, to the government at the expense of those.
So
that
the
pay
traders that own shops do not want the street vendors.
Yes. And
because they believe that street vendors are selling to their clientele.
Yes, and their quest is legitimate.
Okay.
Look, I pay rent. Rent in millions. And Mr. Chirabo, you know very well how much traders in shops pay.
I know that very well.
And at times, they even pay an unreasonable amount. The landlord will come and increase rent unexpectedly.
I was at Cooper Complex, J18.
Yes.
And Bosco Muonge had ways of doing things there.
Exactly. And they can even increase rent up to 100%.
You get a receipt, which is a business card.
You see, now, there is a street vendor who just pick merchandise from, sometimes from even Chinese, brings the merchandise on the street. The person is not paying rent. The person is not paying license. The person is not paying anything, right?
But
now,
making money.
And making money. And now look, this is the challenge. Because the person doesn't incur all those costs, is likely to sell her products cheaper. And what happens when that happens? I mean, when such a scenario happens, the person is in the shop, is just going to spend a whole day doing nothing there. Paying power, these are constant factors. Paying power, paying rent, paying all these dues, license, etc.
Not forgetting the lavatory.
Exactly. Now, we all agreed, now that aside, look how the city is set. This is the face of the nation, the capital city. You find a chicken street vendor on the streets of Kampala. And when I say chicken, I mean roasted, grilled, dipped chicken. These are eats. You know how sensitive that is, health-wise. You find people selling pilau on the streets of Kampala. I mean, we all agree that we don't need that. We need an organized city, and we need to walk the talk. But where we differ as NETA from the authorities that issued the ultimatum is the modality. Okay? Did it call for that abrupt order?
2 weeks, the grace period that they did ask for.
Did it call for that abrupt order? From our end, we think no. We needed to engage more.
Chamba Day, let me put this to you.
A minute.
Okay, please.
We needed to go through their leadership. At least, like I have told you, we've engaged them.
In that meeting, I saw their leadership, and it's one of their leaders that even asked the minister to give them a grace period of 2 weeks, if I recall very well.
Exactly.
The leaders were in the meeting.
Yes, but were they listened to?
They were. That's why they got a grace period of 2 weeks. If they hadn't, then government had to make it with immediate effect.
Let us face reality. We are looking at a street vendor who probably working within a capital of between 50 to 100. That's the capital range. I'm looking at a person who sells biscuits. I'm looking at a person who sells handkerchief. I'm looking at a person who sells
clothes.
Yes, clothes, but
handbags.
Yes, handbags, but
shoes.
Yes, they are there.
Plastics.
Yes, I agree. But what is the magnitude of their capital? Right? Let us look at the liquid capital. For a person who can join a shop, at least you've been there. You know how much it costs someone. You know how
rent alone could be the cheapest. Let's take 800,000.
Yes.
The cheapest. Now you pay 6 months.
Exactly. Now when you look at all those issues, and you consider now the orders, the directives, do you expect to succeed with it? because it has been tried before. And these street vendors sometimes vacate for a short period and then return. What forces them to return is because we handle the process in a disorganized way.
Who doesn't know? Which street vendor on the streets of Kampala is not aware that what they are doing is illegal? Because I interact with these street vendors, but most of the times they will tell you, tuli kubunkenke sawa yonna, meaning, well, anytime KCCA will evict us, apart from some that have mastered bribes, that's why they stay there. But they know what they're doing is illegal.
Now, you've brought 3 issues at hand. 1, corruption. 2, the illegality of the issue. Okay? We've allowed them to operate illegally. Now, once you do that, you've at least you've given a leeway for them for and in support of the agitation. Now, if that is the case, for me, I would think, and from our end as NETA, we think we needed to engage more leaders in the business or in the business community, right? Like I said, street vendors have got their leadership. 2, we've got to look at the issues, the underlying issues. I have heard the executive director, the minister, talking about the spaces in the existing markets. I think KCCA manages around 17 markets around Kampala. And the 17 markets, we can name them. The largest is Owino market, that takes around 50,000 members. But if you go to Owino market today, try to find, even at this ordinary level before the directive, try to look, I want to challenge you, Mr. Chirabo, try to look for a space in Owino.
Owino is not even among the markets that they said they have spaces there.
They have talked of they have talked of the different markets. One of them is this market around the Queen's Way. I am forgetting its name. I mean, all those markets are there, right? Are the spaces they are talking about there? We've seen scenarios, and people have gone there, and they have failed to even, those who are willing to get spaces from those markets, they have failed to get them, right? KCCA, institutions that are in line with this, take it upon yourself. Verify all this information. In fact, arrange these street vendors in their different clusters. For instance, if a person is selling shoes, like you said, if a person is selling bags, like you said, can you allocate that person a stall, like in a section of fruits in your Owino market, for instance? Can you? The answer is no. Can you allocate that person a stall in Kasubi market? Because the person, the product this person is selling is not fit to be in that kind of environment, right? I mean, look what their peculiar differences. Make sure that at least go where you think they fit. You may even find that there are spaces in some of these markets, okay? But if a street vendor who sells school materials goes into that space, can she make business from there?
So your concern is that the spaces in the markets, because when you go to markets, usually markets are partitioned.
Yes.
That there is a space here, but those are dealing in food, these are dealing in fish,
yes.
These are dealing in meat,
yes.
This is an abattoir bit of it,
yes.
These are dealing. So your argument is that what they are selling, the spaces available,
yes,
may not necessarily be in the category of the goods they are selling. So that will in one way hinder their...
Exactly. And like I mentioned earlier, look what their the requisite capital that is needed to run a shop or such space. A person is in the capital range of between 50 to 100. Can that person occupy
But when KCA says these spaces in this government markets or public markets are free of charge.
That's why for me,
they are free of charge.
I would be in support, because even the existing markets are not enough for even the traders. For instance, I know...
Chambade, I've been one of the journalists that have gone with KCCA officials on a fact-finding mission of spaces in markets.
Yes.
And we were shown stores, which I don't think these were stationed, but we were shown stores that, well, these are the places, but the traders, and now we are talking about the vendors, just do not want to come into the markets. Because they are way of doing business. One will tell you, for us, we sell to people who are going home.
You see, like...
Someone is moving, and I persuade them with my good. Now here in a market, a person comes specifically to buy something. Some tell you, here is my stall in the market. There is one, I think it was Sulaiman something. He had a store and was very open to me. He said, Robert, this is my store, but I go on the street. Because in a day, the man I make on the street, much as he had a store, and he left someone who works there, says that it is very easy to attract a Ugandan's attention who is going home with something. Maybe you have bottles for children. But the person may not go to the market to buy, but on their way, they pick interest in, when they see that, they will buy it, contrary to what is in the market. So it is like deliberate refusal to take up these spaces, because they won't make as much as they are making on the streets, yet causing havoc, pickpocketing, creating a fun environment of our city, and we need order.
Nobody enjoys that kind of environment. And in fact, for starters, like I alluded to earlier, I said we need an organized city. We need a clean city. We need a smart city. We don't need all this havoc we've mentioned on the streets of Kampala. This is the face of the nation. But again, it is of what sense if we say we are evicting street vendors today, and after a month or so, they are back on the streets. Okay?
Why do you want to believe that they are going to be back on the streets?
It has happened before.
Maybe they weren't that very serious as they are this time, because the executive director this time even warned his very people who have been aiding some of these street vendors, getting money from them, protecting them, influencing here and there, that should you be caught in this act, you face the wrath of the law. So we want to believe that this time it's a mega operation, and maybe there will be consistency, and they are addressing these gaps that have been retaining them there.
Well, I think one of our roles is to identify gaps and patch up them, and it's what we are doing. I think
previously, one of the reasons why we've had them has been bribery and corruption.
Do you want to mean that corruption is now dealt with? Is that what you're trying to mean?
I want to believe that this time,
you see,
KCCA is more organized.
My brother.
Because you see a street vendor, and this street vendor is comfortable even when they see a KCCA truck.
What I am trying to now talk about is we would have been more organized than what we see. We did not engage these street vendors. We did not engage the business community leaders, okay, for an amicable solution. In fact, I would be the happiest if KCCA, Kampala Ministry, engaged all these cluster of leaders, right? Let the solution come from them. Let them own the solution themselves. Then the level of supervision, the level of implementation of these directives becomes easier. And in fact, that way we would see, at least we would get a long-lasting solution for these street vendors. Like I told you, there are issues that KCCA is not picking in these markets, from these markets. In these markets, there are kingmakers who own these stalls. And you'll hear stories coming up.
These public markets?
Yes, you'll hear people coming. You'll hear these street vendors coming up with these stories soon. Not concocted stories, but it will be reality. They are kingmakers in these markets. They are those who get money from these stalls. You've heard them before, right? And it's still happening. Today, an official from KCC will come, say, they'll bluntly tell you, we have free space here. When a street vendor comes to occupy this space, I mean, it's a different story altogether. We need now to put at least put a committee comprised of all these. I mean, we have street vendors representative, we have business community representatives, we have officials from KCCA. Let us all agree, because at least we all agree that this is not the situation that we want.
Yes, we want order in the city.
Exactly.
A clean city.
Can we work together to achieve this? Can we work together, all of us, to achieve this? I think that would be the better way of doing it. And to me,
how do you want them to work together? Because, like you said, these operations have happened a number of times.
Yes.
No one comes to the street. I want to be very honest with you and to our viewer. I've spoken to many of these street vendors. All of them know it is illegal.
Yes.
What they are doing, they know it is illegal.
But again, you've had now political leaders in the city supporting them, supporting the illegality.
With our politicians, that is something that cannot shake you, or it's not a shock. It is something you expect. We've seen politicians, because for them they are looking at votes.
Yes.
They're looking at votes. And I want to say Honorable Misa Kabanda, she's a very brave woman. Because if you've just been elected as MP for Kampala Central, and in a few weeks you're seen publicly saying you leave the streets, one would assume these have been your voters. But those are the leaders we need. That votes cannot compromise your leadership and abilities to perform the way you should.
I applaud the Honorable Minister.
Yes, because very few can do that.
Yes. But
politicians here look at the bad and call it good in favor of votes.
But again,
so what was I saying? That we are not going to dilly-dally, or should we continue dilly-dallying and what is the word I would use? Share bed with the people that come knowingly that the truth is this is an illegality. You're removing, I've told you of a person who has a store in a market.
Yes.
But chooses to pick some merchandise and put it on the street. There are some of your colleagues who are here saying they should go, but you remove your merchandise. This is your shop. In front of your shop, you have a young boy, 17, 18 there, who is running. Just in front of your shop, you have a street vendor, and it is you. So and it is you, the owner of the shop. That is also another business you're running.
Yeah, yes.
You get, and you know it is illegal. So the people you're talking of very much know this is an illegality. Should we again be romancing the issue and dilly-dallying?
No. In fact, my point is not on romancing the issue. My point is on organization. Can we have an organized operation for at least for this time to achieve the desired goal?
What is wrong with this operation? Though it has not started, but we know where KCCA have come out and said even if it means employing military,
yes,
we shall have them on board.
Yes.
What is wrong with that operation, in your view?
In my view, like I said earlier, we needed to organize better. Okay.
How better would we have organized?
Do we need to engage in running battles with street vendors?
Because the grace period was given for these street vendors to voluntarily vacate. Voluntarily vacate.
Vacate and go where?
To the spaces that are being talked about in the markets.
What is the rationale? Do we even know how much people that we are catering for? Can you, at least, Mr. Chirabo, can you tell me how many people we are looking at?
I cannot. The exact number,
Exactly.
I cannot,
And
maybe estimates.
And exactly, that's what I am talking about.
But
at least from KCC, I heard from the executive director, she said they have identified around 1,900 something stores from the existing markets. Now, how many people are we looking at as street vendors? Have we identified? That's where the teamwork comes in. Have we identified those that have their own shops, who are using these small boys to vend from the streets? I mean, those are catered for already. Have we identified those who completely have nowhere to go, right? They are these are the typical street vendors we are talking about. How many are they? Can the number relatively respond to the number of the existing stores in the markets? I mean, these are the issues that I am trying to look at.
Are vendors not leaving streets because they don't have where to go, or because on the streets they make more money than the alternatives given to them?
I think that's an assumption. I have dealt with them. At least I know the malaise. I am sure even ministers on several occasions they have, even the ministry itself, they have interacted with the leadership, the malaise, and she knows them. They have their own leadership, and she knows them that these ones have nowhere to go. We need to ascertain how many are they. You understand? Do we need to lash this? In my opinion, no. We needed to ascertain the number, ascertain the number of stalls, the existing stalls. I mean, let us push them
with their leadership. With their leadership that you said is very organized. Doesn't KCCA know the number then? Because if they have a leadership, the leadership should have records.
If KCCA...
And the records should be submitted to KCCA. And when they talk about 1,900 plus stores, we should see these vendors move and at least say these have moved, but this is the balance.
Mr. Chirabo, if KCCA knew the number, they would have mentioned the number. In fact, they would be in position to tell us, we have how many people, we have this number. That
of course, which is also hard to know, because every day more get on the streets. Some today are here, tomorrow they go to these other markets. How do they go these markets where you wake up, Namasuba is Monday, Tuesday? Yeah, they keep on moving, then they come back on the streets.
No, Mr. Chirabo. Let me tell you, I think you haven't interacted with these people. And in fact, if you haven't, you've missed a lot.
I've interacted with various categories of these people.
But I would implore you to interact with them and you'll understand. These are people, like I said, who have got their organization, their associations, and they know themselves. Even on the streets, they know themselves. It's not very easy. Try it out. It's not very easy for a newcomer from anywhere just enter and join them. It is not. If that is the case, it is easier, in my own opinion, it is easier to organize them. It is easier to understand the number. It is easier to even get them through their leadership. Say, now we need 500 people in this particular market, right? Bring your people. And in fact, we look what...
they will not come.
We look what they will. And let me tell you, did you follow up the store of Uganda? They were very much willing. In fact, they pushed government to buy for them that place. The confusion that came later, it's another story to tell, right? But they were very willing. It's only optimistic, corrupt leaders within the institutions that failed that move. How I wish it worked. I believe today would be saying, no, government procured land for you.
You go there.
Go there. But today we are talking about existing markets, which markets have already stated that have got their own king makers. I mean, and wait, you will hear these stories. Now, that points at the leadership, the organization issue I have stated here. We needed to organize more, understand these people more, and in fact, now send them knowing we are sending away this number. right? And we are sending them to these places. Don't you think that would be a great move? And in fact, it would yield some tangible results. So, leadership in Kampala needs to exhaust means and also, I think, consider the power of teamwork, working with the existing associations in the business community, working with associations of the street vendors. Let's find an amicable solution, a long-lasting solution to the challenge. Even if you chase them, you've always had. In fact, before this directive comes into force, you'll start hearing now other voices from the same, probably from the same institutions, and you've heard them already. Politicians from KCC are saying contrary to the directive, and that creates the confusion we are talking about, and that gives confidence now the street vendors to remain on the streets. But if KCC explored all these means, let's build a teamwork. How I wish they started with that. It would be a different story today. But again, let's watch and see.
Well, we are talking about evicting street vendors from Kampala, where the executive director and the minister for Kampala, Hajat Misa Kabanda, came out, and it was a 2 weeks ultimatum or grace period that they should have left the streets of Kampala. Now, why are we seeing these operations that they have happened before? We don't know how massive this is going to be, but truth be told, it's not going to be the first time that KCCA comes out to evict vendors. Is it the right time? Is it being done properly? These are the things that we are discussing with my guest in studios. And let me also put this to you. When we talk about street vendors, there is a school of thought that believes Kampala is not for everybody. We are not going to sit here and say street vendors came illegally on the streets of Kampala. They have a capital between 50,000 and 100,000. So the only safest place for now are the streets. Or we must first plan so much for the street vendors. People will believe that Kampala is not for everybody.
I think
quickly as we wind up for sports, yes.
I differ from that narrative. I mean, if it's not for...
If you can't manage the temperatures in Kampala, go to these other developing urban centers. Set your business there. But see, Kampala si buli omu.
You see...
What I capital pangisa duka taswa agenda mukatale funa wala wo kwera si Kampala.
You see, if you say Kampala is not for everyone, is it for who in particular? Like I said, we need an organized city, but we need to plan within the people that we have in Kampala. I mean, can we plan for a facade of sort? I mean, for existing people, people that we don't, I mean, if it is not for those that
are in.
Yes. It is for who?
Chambadi, I must let you go. The sports update team is on my back. Let me give Ruben space to tell us what is happening in the realm of sports. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Gin Shikang L-carnitine chromium capsules Plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 33